You know, you've been working on this intensely, I'm sure, for quite a few years, at least for 7 years, on trying to get this information out. But I'm interested in what your reaction is. Does it get you angry? Do you get frustrated when you find out about things going on? How big a surprises have you found? Are you really shocked and surprised beyond what you anticipated? I actually am pretty surprised, even though I'm a cynic about all the government does. Sometimes I'm pretty shocked. What has your reaction been to what you have discovered over these years?
You know, sometimes I am shocked and surprised. I mean, I've been investigating what the National Security Agency and its allied agencies in other countries have been doing over 20 years. And I put out a book last year called Cypherpunks, saying that, you know, we really have to watch this phenomenon, because this is drifting into something that a National Security Agency scientist, William Binney, calls turnkey totalitarianism. So all the basic elements of a state, like we saw under the Stasi in East Germany, are being built up. It's a potentially a serious challenge to our democracy, and we've got to do something about it. But it turns out, and we saw this with the Edward Snowden revelations, that my most cynical interpretations about what was probably going on were correct. It did surprise me that, not that I hadn't thought that that sort of thing was possibly or probably going on, but that nearly every bad interpretation, nearly every negative interpretation was in fact occurring. The most educational experience that I've had with our publications is not one event or another. There's many very interesting individual events. For example, there's a military base in this. There's a military base in the Indian Ocean, which is given to the United States by the UK, sort of loaned out. And there was a native people that have been there for 200 years. And the Brits structured environmental legislation to protect the fishing, protect the fish in the sea around that base. But it was all designed, in fact, to exclude the native people permanently and dump them in Mauritius, and make a legal excuse to not have them come back, and also to manipulate the centre-left and the Green lobby and the environmental lobby into opposing the self-determination of those native peoples. So lots and lots of things like that. The biggest surprise, though, is the panorama, is the sort of that is done en masse and in so many places, and that it's systematized. I actually even think that in our release of the State Department cables, that no one, including within the State Department, had actually read them like the way that we did. They were all dedicated to their little area of the world and their particular mission in a particular country, and they read the cables to do with that. But we and some others who were involved in the publications, and some very interested members of the general public, of course, read widely across the whole thing. So we could see what the general tendency was, and going on in many, many different countries. And that's the thing that is most concerning to me, that this isn't, what is happening to the world now is not some Henry Kissinger-esque figure making secret plots and plans about geopolitical strategy, and we do this here, and then we engage the Russians there, etc. That happens a little bit, and those people like to think that they're in charge. But it seems to me that what is actually going on is a pretty much out of control bureaucracy involving the state and big corporations. The National Security Agency now, 80% of its budget goes to Booz Allen Hamilton, Lockheed Martin, Raytheon, and so on. And it's not just a US phenomena. It's a global phenomenon. Companies like BAE, British Aerospace, they're in Sweden, they're in the United States. I liken it to a Mongol horde. There is some people trying to be in charge of it in some ways, but it's basically an unthinking, unreasoned process. And all the secrecy means that no one has proper oversight of what is going on. That to me is what is most concerning about it. This is not some bad people making bad decisions who understand what's going on. This is bad people, good people, all mixed up into a system where they're blind and blinkered because of the secrecy in an unthinking, marauding state corporate bureaucracy.